This chapter will cover LumiShine Dimensional Deposit, Demi-Permanent Creme Color, and all the ways to incorporate them into your hair color approach. Let me tell you why this is a game changer for your salon. You're gonna be able to get max control out of a deposit-only color. So imagine the control of a permanent cream, but with no lift. This means healthier, shinier hair. Demi-permanent creams are your better option when it comes to services like low lighting, gray blending, gray coverage, and color corrections. The reason why I would choose a demi cream versus a demi liquid, let's say for low lighting, I wouldn't necessarily want to go with a liquid because it's too translucent, whereas the demi cream has the opacity that's gonna give me the coverage that I want in that low light. I love to use the demi creams for toning especially. Sometimes I have clients that their hair is just a little bit too warm and the demi liquid just isn't gonna get the job done for me. So in this situation, I like to grab my demi cream because the opacity is gonna give me the coverage and the balance that I need in this situation. We have 7 great shade families in our demi creams. Let me just grab my trusty swatch book here. And you still have your quick reference guide here, so that's gonna tell you your mixing, your timing, but we wanna talk about the families as far as the shades go. So again, we still have our Ns and our NAs, so we're talking about naturals and natural ash. Now the natural is a perfectly balanced brown, and then the natural ash gives you that slight green undertone to cut through the extra warmth. You are gonna get a little more gray coverage when it comes to the lower levels. So for example, if I needed to get more deposit to fully blend gray, then I'm gonna go with a level 5 and lower. Now, if I want more gray blending, then I'm gonna stick to a level 6 and above. So let's talk about some of the warmer shades. So we're gonna transition into our natural golds. These come in 3 different levels. So because we've got a 3, a 6, and a 9 natural gold, you can intermix these levels to create any level in between. After that, we go down to our natural warm beige. The natural warm beige, again, we're skipping levels here because you don't need that much as far as the colors go. You can intermix to create what you want. So we have a 10, an 8, and a 6 natural warm beige. For me, I actually love to mix the 10 and the 8 together because 9 is probably my most popular shade, and I love to use that, especially when I'm trying to really balance out my blondes. We also have our natural warm series or our nude glow series. These are those perfect sandy, beigey, really natural looking blondes and brunettes, and that's why we created that series. It's actually one of my favorites to use. Now, as we continue to warm it up, we're gonna talk about the natural red gold. The natural red gold is a perfect resource when you're trying to do a back tint. So we love to use this one when you have that blonde who's extremely porous and it's really hard for her to hold on to that color and you're trying to redeposit. This is where you're gonna wanna grab your 8 natural red gold or your 6 natural red gold. In some cases, you just mix them together and then you can deposit right over the top of that. Now, last but not least, our SB series. So again, this is one that we talked about a little bit before with the other colors when we talked about the permanents and we talked about the demi-liquids. But here, it's a little different because versus the demi-liquids, again, we talked about the opacity. This is gonna give you a little bit more punch. So it's gonna drive that color and you're gonna get a stronger silver blue deposit. So this is really gonna cool those colors off big time. Now let's talk a little bit more about the gray coverage that is so unique to the Demi Cream and LumiShine. You're gonna get gray coverage with all of our shades with the exception of the natural ash and the silver blue. Now that's if you're a level 5 and below. So if you're using a level 5 and below, you will get 100% gray coverage. For your level 6 and above, you're gonna get more of a gray blended result. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't get the same result using the natural ash or the silver blue. In that case, you're just gonna wanna mix in one of the other colors that's gonna give you more gray coverage. So in this case, I personally would probably just mix in a little bit more of the natural, and that's gonna give me the gray coverage that I need. So some of my go-to formulas, let's say I'm doing a low light in a blonde and I really just wanna create some subtle dimension. This is where I'm gonna go for my NWB, my natural warm beige series, or the natural warm series. I love to use that one as well because that one, like I said before, is more of like a nude shade. Another one that's really great, especially like if you're trying to back tint or you're trying to deepen a blonde from a lighter color, is the natural red gold, which I talked about a little bit already, but again, I can't say enough about the natural red gold series because it is so rich and it really does deposit that color perfectly. If you really want that icy, cool blonde, then I would recommend doing this in 2 steps. The first thing that I would do is I would actually use my Demi-Permanent liquids and use my natural violet or my violet series, let's say level 9, and cancel out as much of that yellow as I can. Next step is I'm actually gonna go in and grab my Demi-Permanent Creme Color, and I'm gonna use the 10 SB and go straight on because, like I said before, the opacity in that is gonna give you more deposit, so that's really gonna cut through and create a beautiful silver.